cycling friends. James with Team Finish Strong, here again at the battlefield. I came here today to go for a nice walk, get to see some of the parts of the battlefield I don't normally get to see by bike. And so today I wanted to share with you, particularly from two passages in Scripture in the New Testament, Matthew chapters 24 and 25. It's a rather lengthy discourse by Jesus, and it centers around the expectancy of his return. And you know, what I get from that passage are two things primarily. Both our attitude and our way of life that we should be living, and the expectancy of awaiting his return. And I have to wonder, does the church still have that expectancy that was there in the early church for his return? Now granted, 2,000 years have passed, and that's understandable, but they were expecting Jesus at any moment, potentially, and they were ready. And what were they doing in light of that? Well, they were sharing the message of the gospel anywhere and everywhere they could. Before kings and rulers, before the poor, before the lame, in the temple, in their homes, in the streets. They took every opportunity that they could. And so I have to wonder, today, are we still doing that? Are we still sharing the hope of Christ anywhere and everywhere we can? You know, if you take a look at the church today, you could almost say some are sleeping on the job. Or maybe to put it a different way, we've gotten so comfortable in this body of believers that we've separated ourselves from the message of the mission. And to that, I think Jesus is speaking here in chapters 24 and 25. He uses the illustration of a master who's gone off on a long journey. And he says that it would be well for the servants of that master to be found faithfully doing what the master asked him to do upon his return. You know, there's another parable too of 10 virgins. And these virgins are symbolic of the church. And you see in this text that 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. The wise ones carried oil with them, and the 5 foolish ones didn't. And what happened? Well, the bridegroom was expected to come, but unfortunately, it was during the middle of the night that he arrived, and they were all sleepy and fallen asleep. Well, the 5 wise ones had carried oil with them, and so when the announcement finally came, they were ready. While the 5 foolish ones ran out of oil, and while they were out trying to shop around for oil, the bridegroom came. The 5 wise ones were ushered into the wedding banquet, and the door was shut, leaving the 5 foolish ones out. They missed their opportunity. And what I want to share with you folks today is that, who do you want to be? Do you want to be counted among the 5 wise ones? Or might you find yourselves among the 5 foolish ones? And I thought of an illustration to kind of share with you folks about this. Think of it like this. If you're a fireman, okay, and you hear the fire bell, what do? You go to the firehouse, right? Well, we as believers, we have a calling by Christ to be out doing what he's called us to do. And this sort of like is the church bell ringing to the church, calling us. And I would say, friends, if you hear the church bell ringing, what do? You go back to the church house. And so I just want to encourage my friends here, If you've been out in the world, living it up in the world, living for today, not caring about tomorrow, not caring about your future, or if you've just been a little too comfortable to get out there and share the message, maybe you're hearing the church bell ring today, realizing it's time to get back to the message of the mission. You know, the early church was doing this. This was the mission of the church. It was what Jesus called us to do in Acts 1:8. And it's still our mission today. We haven't gotten a pass from that. We're to be living faithfully and sharing until he returns. Keeping watch, and that's important. So I would encourage you today, keep watch and be about our Master's business, because you never know when he's going to come, and you don't want to find yourselves shut out when he does. Friends, finish strong, and that's your thought for the week.